So Rob Reiner was murdered along with his wife, found murdered, found stabbed to death. Right now, they have the son, Nick, in custody for the murder, as he is alleged to have done it. The reasons being, of course, that that he is, I mean, we don't know the reasons, but what we can surmise is he has made several comments about how he's been left to fend for himself on the streets and try to survive on the streets, roughly, because they wouldn't let him live at home because he was a drug addict and they wanted him to go to rehab. And he refused to do it their way. He doesn't want to do it their way. He wants to do it his way, whatever. Now, again, we don't know the true motive. We don't know even if he's guilty yet. It's not like he admitted to it. We do know that he's in custody. But regardless, we know that it had nothing to do with politics. I mean, we can all pretty much surmise that. I mean, I highly doubt that his son went and killed him because his father wouldn't stop talking about Donald Trump. But regardless, this is what Donald Trump had to say about it. He went on to say, "It's a very sad thing that happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump," referring to himself in the third person, "with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace." This is what he does. You know, this is what Trump does. He likes to make these outlandish, in fact, the moment I heard that Rob Reiner was murdered, the first thing I did was I looked at my friend and I said, Trump is going to say something grossly offensive about this, and it's going to come out. I knew it right away because this is what he does. He waits for a major news story to break. Could be a school shooting, could be just something horrendous, could be Rob Reiner being murdered. Soon as the news breaks and it's all anyone's talking about, he has to insert himself into it. And he has to use it as some way to build a super ultra offensive narrative that somehow the liberals are at fault for whatever occurred, right? So a school shooting happens and he comes out and he's like, well, go figure, you know, obviously some guy who was probably a liberal grabbed a gun and went and murdered a bunch of people on a school campus because he's, you know, probably a liberal. And, this is what happens when you're a liberal raised by liberals and you hate Trump. You go out and you shoot up your school. Too bad. Such a shame. And everybody loses their minds. And, of course, the people on the left flip out about it, and they all start railing against it and so on and so forth. This is old. It's old. And this is what happens when you've lost all your power. The economy is not doing good after you said you would fix it. And it's deliberate because you put these tariffs in place that deliberately hurt the economy. You're going to war with Venezuela when nobody wants a war. Flies right in the face of people who voted for you that don't like war. Which by the way, Venezuela is warring with them would be a war with Iran, just in case any of you didn't realize that. It would be Iran rather, I apologize, an Iran war. You've angered every ally we have. You angered Europe. They don't want nothing to do with us. You're bombing drug dealers in boats illegally. With absolute, you're not giving criminal drug dealers due process. You're claiming that drug dealing is an act of terror. Venezuela is not responsible for one single microbe of fentanyl in the United States, yet you're murdering people. A total overreach of power. It violates maritime laws. It violates Geneva Convention laws. It violates the constitutional laws. And despite all of this, you're doing this. And now even Republicans hate you. Indiana told you to screw yourself when you tried to ask them to gerrymander their state to help you win or to help Republicans win in the midterms. There's a sea of blue sweeping across the country in every major mayoral election, every midterm election, everything that's happened so far. There's been an overwhelming level of support, a shellacking of Democrats destroying Republican opponents. J.D. Vance's brother got face destroyed in his election, and you're losing. Marjorie Taylor Greene turned on you, doesn't want anything to do with you, one of your most loyal supporters. Half the people, she's even said, more than half of the Republicans don't even like you. And essentially, and they all were just kissing your ass because you won and they wanted a job. But now you've given them the inability to do their job because you do everything through executive order. You don't let them do their job. You don't let them legislate, which is what they're supposed to do. You completely ignore the three branches of government, violate constitutional laws. The Supreme Court has told you multiple times that you violated laws. You're shipping immigrants with no due process to countries they're not even from. You've built an army, a police state with ICE that has one of the largest budgets of any military on earth, I think, except us. They're like the second most funded form of policing or military on planet Earth. And you have them just, smashing people off the roads, grabbing them with no due process, accidentally shipping American citizens out of the country. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. And so now your own base don't like you. All the pundits, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, all the people that are voices, Ben Shapiro, all the people who were supporters of your movement, Joe Rogan, none of them are even in agreement anymore. None of them. They're all at each other's throats. Candace Owens, none of them like each other anymore. They all are attacking each other. The whole movement is dying. And the law is the law. The law is the law. And regardless of whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, I don't really care about your politics if you're watching this. I don't care who you voted for if you're watching this. The bottom line is that you can't circumvent authority. And many men all throughout history have tried to obtain power by circumventing authority, but in the end, authority always wins. We've seen it with Stalin. We saw it with Hitler. We've seen it with Mussolini. We've seen it all throughout history. We're going to see it with China soon enough, and we're definitely going to see it with Putin soon enough. It all comes out in the wash. And at the end of the day, in America, we have something called the Constitution. In America, there is no human being that runs America. What runs America is the law. And the law is a system of rules put together by voters, by American citizens. And so the American people, at the end of the day, whether they want to convince you have no power. They want to make you feel like your vote doesn't matter. They want to make you feel like there's no faith in democracy because they know you have all the power and the control, and they know that. As American citizens, strength in numbers, SIN, baby, strength in numbers, and they know this. So anyway, regardless of all of this, because I don't really want to bark too much about this, I just want to stress that this is more of his pettiness, his ability to try to get people to stop focusing on what really is needs to be discussed, which are all of the things I mentioned before in the ever-growing problem of income inequality, people's inability to get groceries. It's disgusting. It's just more nonsense from this buffoon. And that's just really where I'm at. Again, I don't want to turn my channel into a political channel, but politics does directly affect business. And so it's important. And I felt the need to say something and bring this up. You can't, if you're somebody who loves Trump, which there are. I know many of you are probably like, nobody could really like this guy anymore, right? Nobody can like this guy anymore. But let me tell you, they do. I will show you a post right now, okay, which was posted earlier. I'm trying to find it. There it is right there. Oh, wait, actually, that's not it. Looked like it for a moment. Where's that post? I am live right now, by the way, so I'm doing everything in real time. Wow. It was literally just there. Oh, here it is. Right here. Here's where this was posted in this group. Some random group. I forget the name of it. It's something about New Hampshire. But if you look at the comments, right? There's people that hate him, calling him a pedo and so forth. I don't think that was the post, because the one that I saw had like 56 comments. And is this it? Yeah, here it is. So here was the original post of Trump's comment. I usually have these things ready. I apologize, guys, if those of you watching are wondering. So this guy says, one less pedophile on the planet. That's what he says. One less pedophile on the planet. Calling Rob Reiner that. Confusing, because there's been no allegations of that against Rob Reiner. However, there is overwhelming evidence with the Epstein relationship that Trump was involved in pedophilic activities. Not sure why nobody wants to talk about that, but this is, again, what you see. Let's take a look at who this guy is. Look at this guy. Who is this guy? Joel Peliquin. Look at him. This guy. And he says, one less pedophile on the planet. And then look, he says, this is your boat. This is your boat on drugs. Look at this. He's promoting how awesome it is that we're killing drug dealers. Guys, everybody has to have their day in court. You can't kill drug dealers. It's against the law. And a lot of people are going to be arrested for this stuff. But anyways, for those of you who love Donald Trump, you're going to go ahead, you're going to eat this up because you're an idiot. And when he says these outrageous things, you go, Trump is so crazy. Trump is so crazy. I love him. He's so ballsy. He doesn't care about those liberals. Oh, those liberals, man. That's what you're going to do because you love Trump. For those of you who don't love Trump, you have to ignore this. And you have to ignore this because it has absolutely nothing to do with anything. All it is content. That's all it is. Content that nobody will give a fuck about long enough. Anyways, that being said, this was a short video. I just wanted to stop in and talk about this. For those of you who like the channel, please give it a like. Hit the subscribe button. There will be plenty more content. I will be interviewing a lot of people on here. People I agree with, people I disagree with, but everybody that I talk to will be, the channel will be based around success, the pitfalls that we face trying to obtain success, and that's it. But that's all I wanted to talk about today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful time, and I'm out. Peace.